to another episode of Novelio. Today is Tuesday, June the 1st, 2021, and today I'm so lucky and blessed to be able to be going to be talking to Jessica Russell about her book that we finished yesterday, Hot Winter Sun, which is a hot novel. I just absolutely totally love it. I'm going to get her on the phone here, hopefully, and just start our little chit chat. See if I can find her on here. Let me see. I need to invite her on here. Jessica, if you're watching, we're going to guest requests. Okay. We're going to just find her in 1 second. So, people are able to phone in or call us and chat with us, chat with Jessica, ask her questions, all that fun jazz. Sorry for the delay. We are just waiting to get a hold of Jessica here. This is my first time talking to someone, phoning someone in. Oh, we need to resume that. Okay, so someone is watching. Let's see if it's Jessica. Jessica? No. Okay. I need to see who it is. So, I want to know what you thought about Hot Winter Sun. If you listened and to the book, the whole every episode or just a few episodes or whatnot, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the book. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to give her a call here, and hopefully there won't be any crazy feedback. We're going to call her right now. See if she answers. Hopefully she will. And see if we can get her on the phone. We are calling Jessica. Is she answering? I don't know. That is my look of seeing who is watching the video. Jessica! Oh no. I know she didn't forget. Oh!
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh! You are on video.
Am I on?
You are on my video. Okay. So,
I did it right. You have to be kidding me.
oh my lord. Okay, well, are you watching the live feed? Because then maybe I could bring you on to the actual live feed.
Let's see. It's telling me it can't connect my...
Oh. Technical issues. Such as the life. Pardon? You know what? I can just do this. I can just show people your face.
You just show them the picture. I always look stupid in these videos anyway.
Oh God, me too. I was going to, do myself all up, and I thought, no, this is the real me. Why would I do that?
You look fine the way you
Oh,
are.
yeah. I'm like, why did I change anything? This is who they listen to, and really it's just my voice. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You look fine.
Oh, yes. You look lovely, too. So, okay. So, I'll just, your book. Oh, my God, your book. Like, just loved it so much. I just cannot get over the fact how much I loved it. And I'm so happy that I was able to, like, start this podcast, not only for others, obviously, but for me to be able to read a book. Like, I haven't read a book since before my twins were ever a thought, and, you know, before they ever came around. And
well,
so I haven't...
You would never know that by how you read it.
Oh, well, I love to read.
Right.
Like, I do. Like, I love to read. Are you still there?
I think I'm still here.
Okay. Yep. You're still here. Okay. Technical Facebook and all of that stuff is just not always the best.
No, I know.
Yeah. Do you wanna... Can you call Canada? That's a funny question.
I think so.
Or, you know, you could call me on my Skype. On my Skype number, it is for the States, because I could give it to you and you could call. Maybe that would be better.
Yes. Is it cutting out and stuff?
Yeah, it's just choppy, and there's still like this. It's still ringing, like as if we're trying to phone you, and we have you on the phone.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't hear that on my end.
I
That's
know.
funny.
It's weird.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. We're going to get to this bottom of this in just 1 second. And I'm signing into Skype. We have to get this going because there's so much I need to talk to you about on this. Okay, try to call. So the number for the Skype is area code 803.
I lost you, I think.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Right, now I hear you.
Okay.
I got the 803 part.
Yeah, 803-883.
Okay.
0131. And we'll see what happens.
Okay, 803-883-0031?
Oh, no, 0131.
803-883-0131.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get to the bottom of this. Okay. Talk to you in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So, hopefully, we're not going to rate the quality of the call because it was kind of crappy. So, we're just going to have her call us back, and hopefully that will be fixed. And hopefully my Skype will work. My Skype online. Don't be difficult, Skype. Okay, so we are still live. We are still talking. We are still waiting to talk to Jessica with a clear connection, and hopefully everything will be all hunky-dory. But if you're listening to the podcast and you listened to the episodes, even just one, and you were touched or interested in any of the book that you heard, please call in to talk to Jessica and ask her questions or comments. I'm sure she'd love to hear from anyone and everyone. I know I have enough questions to ask and talk to her about. I don't know if she's having any difficulty talking or phoning, whatnot, but so far it's not going so great. But that's okay, that's the technical world. We'll get through it. So, Jessica Russell wrote a book called Hot Winter Sun, and it takes place in the 16th century in England, and the main character, Catherine, is a young girl who is the daughter of a blacksmith shop owner, and she meets or has known these twin sons, Julian and Robert, who are a few years older than her, and the story goes on. At the very beginning, the story goes on a few years later, where Catherine's mother has passed away, and I can't tell anymore. Jessica's gonna have to tell. So I don't think she's having success calling. I needed the country code for Canada. 1. Okay. We're just gonna tell her I'm hoping either will work. So I'm hoping I can bring her on. Someone is watching, and I'd love to know who. Sometimes it doesn't tell you. It doesn't say there are any viewers, but it does say there is someone watching. So I thought you used to be able to invite people on. Okay, I'm here. Oh, yay, hi. Okay, so I'm going to try and get you on here. Why does it say that? Jessica? Why is it doing that? It says it cannot be found. Ugh, give me a break. Okay, Jessica, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll just give it a minute and see what's happening. I thought I was able to invite you on, and it says that you're actually not here, but you are here. Let me give Facebook a minute. So, good grief. I am not sure what's happening. Why does technology have to be so difficult sometimes? Well, I'm just going to talk to you and ask you questions myself right now about the book. It could be delayed. And that's fine. So it says, I'm trying to bring you on the screen. I don't know what is happening. Please bear with me, everybody. I'm sorry, this is my very first live chatting with the author, and it's not working out very well. But we will get there. We will get there. My laptop was acting up and saying that I couldn't use my camera, and it wouldn't let me use my camera. And now I went on my phone, and let's see if we can get Jessica yet. No. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Well, this is just no fun. Jessica, can you privately message me your number and I will call you? Because this is just ridiculous. I'm sorry, everyone. Hopefully there is We're going to get to the bottom of this. Have faith. And then I will call Jessica. How about that? You won't be able to see her, so you have to stare at me. But that's okay. We just want to talk to Jessica. Like, give us a break. So, here, let's call Jessica. Let's call someone. Right now. Dial pad. 1 8 4 3 6 9 8 0 9 0 4. It's connecting. It's ringing. Everybody dance.
Hello.
Hello. Thank goodness. Some technology works. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So yes, we have finally found a way to communicate here. Pardon?
Oh, nothing. I just heard a funny sound.
Oh, yeah. Probably just my computer being crazy. You think that some sort of technology service would work for us. And finally, Skype. Good old Skype. I call you on Skype and I've got the live podcast going. So let's just get into this thing. So for people that don't know, I interviewed Jessica a few months ago for my interview podcast, also on Spreaker. And we talked about her new book, Hot Winter Sun. And she told me all about it. And I was adamant that I was going to get it and read it. And then a month or so went by, and then I had an idea, and I don't know why I had the idea. I was just thinking, what about all those people who want to read novels and can't, and really cannot afford to get an Audible audiobook subscription? Or what if it's a novel that just came out like yours and it's not on an audiobook yet? So I was thinking, what if I just make a podcast and just read books with people's, author's permission? So I reached out to you and you said, absolutely, which I was like so thrilled that you said yes. And so April 26th, I started reading it and we finished yesterday and I'm so sad it's done. Are you still there with us?
Yeah, it tuned out just for a little there, but I heard every word you said. It just kind of went muffly for a minute.
Oh,
but
no.
I think you did a great job reading it. I mean, it was just, you have a good voice for it. You put the right emotion into it. I just thought it was wonderful for someone who doesn't, do audiobook readings for a living to be able to do that. I don't know if I could have done that good with it, and I wrote it.
Well, yeah, I know that, I tripped over words sometimes and that kind of thing, but I just loved doing it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should be a telephone operator. Who knows? But I just enjoyed I got right into it, and I used to read, I read my kids' books all the time, and I used to read kids' books all the time because I worked in a school with little children. So I don't know. I love reading. I just don't get a chance much these days. But I just, it was just so easy to read. And if a book really speaks to me, then, it's just that much better. So thank you for writing an awesome book that was just so, just easy to pick up and not put down. And just every little piece about it just like sucks you in and you don't want to stop reading.
Well, that was one of the goals that I had with it, because one of my pet peeves with books are, that proverbial 50 pages in the middle that just lags and doesn't do anything to move the story forward. And I was just determined not to have any of that in my novel. I wanted it to just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
You know, and just like practically where you didn't know where to stop and pick it up later. Because I don't know, it's just something I always hated my whole life, is where pages and pages of like, I got up, I got dressed, I went for a jog, I had breakfast. It's like, get to the story already.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I just love how it started. She's like, I don't want to, obviously, hopefully people who are listening or will listen later have read it, but I don't want to give away a lot. I mean, I don't want to give away everything, but how it started when she was just a young girl, and then for that, you know, and then when it really, really starts, she's older, and, you know, her mother's passed away, and the twins, Julian and Robert, are obviously older, and then she's like got this relationship going with one of them, and it's I just loved how it started. Just, you know, that whole little tiny part about them coming up to her and asking her to pay her father for you know, tending to their sister's horse, and then it kind of just stops, and then, you know, you start reading again, and it's you know, a few years later. So how did you come up with doing it like that? Like, how did
it's funny because that prologue literally was like an 11th hour addition to that book. I didn't want to have a prologue or an epilogue because I know people these days, they just want to get right to it, and they don't have a lot of patience and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was actually something that I literally wrote at the last minute. It was like 2 days before it went to the publisher, and I thought, I have a brainstorm for a little prologue here.
Wow,
that's so many compliments on that prologue. I mean, I'm just so glad I did it now.
Yeah.
It was something I kind of second guessed, like, should I or shouldn't I? Because they say don't change things at the last minute. I thought, oh, what the heck, I'm doing it. And people loved it. And I'm so glad I did it now.
Oh, I can't imagine the book without it. Like, it just added so much more. Like, just trying to picture it without that part. I mean, you know, like, how you can see instantly, like, how she's a young girl, but the twins, they know, you know, they're so drawn to her already, and she's so humorous. They make her laugh, and then, you know, how they talk about how many hearts she's going to break as they ride away, and then, bam,
and then
it's like,
up being them.
yeah, and then it ends up being them the whole story. Like, it's just, that was a great move to add that in there, for sure.
Well, thanks, I'm glad you liked that.
Oh yeah, I loved all of it. So the title, Hot Winter Sun, so it took me, obviously, I don't know if other people, but, you know, until I really caught on, you know, when you read books with titles and then the title's actually in the story finally, and you're like, oh, that's where it came from. But when we were talking about the windows the first time, and how she said, oh, you'll keep the room warm in the winter, and then it never dawned on me then. Like, I wonder how many people actually caught on then. But then later, when it said, you know, about her hot winter sun, I was like, oh, it totally makes so much sense. So,
yeah, some people caught that little, the little innuendo to it early. Like, some did and some didn't. It was about 50-50.
yeah.
But then later on, when he was he said it to her brother, and he said, oh, forget about it. You wouldn't understand. That was kind of like the moment where the rest of everyone else, oh, I get it now. You know, but I don't know. I love stuff like that with titles. I don't like the same old boring kind of titles. I like, instead of it being a big thing, I like it to be a little thing that ends up being the title, like one of those little things that you don't notice, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's it. So I kind of was going for that, so I'm glad you had that reaction to it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just makes so much sense too, right? Like, I mean, I think it was like colored windows or something. Was it colored windows or was it?
Yeah, like stained glass.
Yeah, stained glass. Yeah.
And I made it to be like kind of like a double innuendo too. Like the other part is just kind of something only I know because I never really said anything about it, but it's kind of like, okay, you wouldn't think like a sun is hot, or like the winter sun is hot. You think the winter sun is kind of cool. but it kind of, maybe I did mention that to you before, that it kind of was also alluded to the fact that nobody in the book was kind of exactly how they seemed at first.
Right.
You know, like Julian seemed horrible at first,
Yeah.
you know, and he ended up having heart of gold.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I won't do any spoilers, but some people you thought were, oh, that's just a nice regular person, and they ended up kind of having a deeper side. And,
Yeah.
you know, nobody was exactly who they seemed to be, and then they kind of, it kind of unwound down to what the person really is later on, and I thought that was kind of like a double reference, kind of.
Yeah, like when she finally moved into the manor after marrying, and then, like, I thought that, I didn't know what the reaction was going to be, and I thought that from what I read, I thought, oh, there's going to be some trouble. Lots of people aren't going to, like, take to her very well or like her, and then it totally changed completely. And even with, like, his father, too, like Julian said, oh, he's going to be furious, and then she went, and Robert, he was, like, completely the opposite. So, yeah, it was definitely not a surprise to see how people's, you know, personalities came about.
Yeah, and I thought that made it, like, more original, because
Yeah.
I kind of tried to do opposite to, like, okay, what would everybody expect this to be? You know, and usually, like, of course, the father would be, like, the biggest hurdle, because he owns everything, and he's, you know, the richest estate owner, and you would think he would be the one that give her the worst reception, and then he ended up being her biggest champion, and I just thought that gave it a different twist. Instead of making it's always, I don't know, at least a lot of books I read, it's always like the cookie cutter thing that you would expect, exactly what you would expect to happen, and it kind of bores you after a while. You know, it's just like, okay, I predicted that was going to happen. I figured out that was going to happen. Can you give me something I don't see coming? You know, so I tried to do that as much as I could all through without getting ridiculous, you know, but enough to just make it so that people kind of didn't see every little thing coming down the pike and just start flipping through the pages, because that's the kiss of death.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's just, I mean, so many different, like, so there's just so many things, like, it was just, my tongue's tied right now.
There's a lot of things you want to ask.
Oh, I know. I have a list of things. It's just, how did you do this? And how did you do that? And, like, but, like, so did you write the book before you had the title? Or did you have the title first? And then...
The title, pretty early on. Like, I had literally just a few scenes written.
Right.
And it was weird, because the title popped in my head, and I just kind of went, huh? You know, because I don't know where, to this day, where it came from. Yeah. It just was a weird phrase that popped in my head.
Were you in a greenhouse?
You're not the first person who's asked me that. You want to be on vacation in the middle of winter, where you in a greenhouse, or somewhere with that beach. And actually, I was just doing regular run-of-the-mill work for my day job, which is also writing, but I write web content for a living.
Yeah.
And it was just like in the middle where you take a little break from your writing, and then I'm thinking about the novel a little bit, and then this phrase, I'm like, how am I going to make that work? Yeah. And then afterwards, like, usually you write the scene, and then you figure, oh, that would make a great title. Right. I wrote the title, and then I had to figure out a scene. Yeah. How am I going to do this? And that ended up being one of the funnest parts, at least to me, of that book, was making that title work.
Oh, yeah.
What am I going to do with that? But
well, so...
It was so unusual.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you the honest truth. So, at first I was a little scared to read it, because I was afraid I wouldn't like it. And I feel bad saying this, but... So... you know, for me, I'm not a big fan of, like, romancy books, and, you know, like, stuff from, you know, the, like, say, 16th century or whatever, and so I was thinking, like, you know, Harlequin romance, and I'm sorry if that's an insult or it's not or whatever, but maybe you like those, lots of people do, but I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. But it was like nothing like I ever expected. It's not even the same kind of, you know, book.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's not an insult at all, because that's actually what I had an argument with someone way back about, because, I don't know, historical fiction somehow turned into historical sex.
Right.
And, you know, like, those books got so that after a while, all there was just, you know, these love scenes and graphic sex and, like, 3 pages of plot, you know, and then they would stick a few historical facts in a really boring way, and then all of a sudden, oh, this is historical romance. And a lot of people have that reaction. I love when people say that's what they were expecting, and then they were blown away by what they got, because that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Okay. I didn't want to insult you.
That's like music to my ears.
I didn't want to say, I thought it was going to be like a Harlequin romance, and then, because I didn't know if you'd be insulted or think, oh God, she thought, you know, what my book looked or sounded like.
There's a market for those books.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
But I get it, you know, but they're not for everybody.
No.
They're not, if I want some really, really light reading, like if I just watched a horrible, scary movie, then I might go read a Harlequin for a few minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But they're a different kind of book, and they're kind of like what they call a beach read or whatever, and
right.
That's fine. But, you know, I wanted something with more meat in the bones. That's why I wanted it to be about the characters and what they thought and what they felt, and get you inside their heads and make them real, instead of just, oh, here's another sex scene, oh, here's another sex scene. You know, we all know how that works. But, you know, give us something a little bit more to feed our brain on, you know. Oh, yeah,
absolutely. So how did you come up with the names of the characters? So, like Jennifer, for instance, like what, and Carinza, like I've never heard those names. I mean, did you... Yeah, those are... I actually Googled Cornish names.
Okay. And Jennifer, it can be Jennifer, or Jennifer.
Okay.
There's actually 3 ways, and I just leave that up to the reader.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they kind of split 3 ways, like a third, and a third, the way they pronounce it, and I love it. I always wait to see like how they're going to say that. But that's an old Cornish name. I actually Googled, like, English names 1600s, but like specifically for Cornwall.
Okay.
Because that odd little corner of England actually had their own kind of dialect, and they had names that, like, back then, if you heard that name, you'd say, oh, you're from Cornwall.
Yeah,
you know, and that's how specific they were. So I actually Googled them to find ones that just sounded interesting and not just like ones I'd heard before. So that, I kind of worked hard at that, you know, to get ones that I thought would be different. But the funny thing about Carinza, she actually, I had given her another name. Listen, do I have time to tell a little funny story? Is this okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. There was another name called Meliora, Mellora, and there was another name called Melder, Melder.
Yeah.
And I was originally going to do an M name for her like that. And I originally decided on Melder because I wanted a name that could sound kind of severe for her kind of dowry kind of attitude that she would have sometimes, but one that I could soften up. And that one was kind of perfect. It was Melder, but then I could make it Melly, which is a very frivolous, kind of nice, girly name.
Yeah.
But at the very end, I guess I'm giving a spoiler away here, but... The person that she marries in the end, I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Carinza was actually a character who married someone else at the end.
Oh.
And she wasn't like a main character, but she did get married at the end. And the name Melder would have made her first and last name. If you called someone... like if you made someone's name Lonson Johnson,
yeah.
You know, like I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't use that name because she's going to marry him, and that name is going to make a rhyming name.
Oh, yeah.
So, literally at the last minute, I had to change the name, and I picked Carinza because I could shorten that to Carrie, and that made like the same kind of effect. But I still sometimes think of her in my head as the other name because that was such a last minute change.
Yeah.
But names are quite an odyssey when you're doing. Amazing. Sometimes they change their names on their own, and you're like, okay, you want to change your name? I'll change it.
Yeah.
It's just, like, fascinating, though.
Oh,
I'll probably think I'm crazy with that story
now, right? That's funny, though. It's, like, what the things that writers have to go through to, like, become, you know, write a book and get out
of... you have no idea.
No.
You have no idea.
No, like, I mean, especially a novel. Like, a novel. How do you write a novel, like, that's... you know, 300 and some odd pages, and it's just, you know, like, and this book's big, so I'm holding up the book right now, like, it's huge. Like, when I got it in the mail, and I was like, wow, that is big, but I mean, like, it's 300 and what? 381 pages?
382.
82 pages, yeah.
Yeah, about 81, 82, depending on which, you know, like, where you got the copy from, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, people who, you know, when they want to, like, critique and say this and that, whatever, I always think, like, okay, you go write one, because it's not as easy as you think.
I could never.
You know, everybody becomes an expert. Like, the minute you publish a book, it's like, oh, well, you need to change this, and you need to do that, and it's like, you know what, honey?
Yeah.
You have no idea how much work went into this. If you think it's easy,
try
it. That's terrible, I know.
No, it's that, not. You have the right to say that. Like,
true.
How long did it take you to write this? Years, right?
Oh, yeah, it was probably, oh, my word, the first time I got the idea for it was actually 9 years ago.
Wow.
And I was just like in the first 5 or 6 years of getting my regular day job writing career going, and I just didn't have the time to do it justice. And then, you know, I finally started it really in earnest, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then during the pandemic, you know, I had plenty of time to finish it up and proofread it and all that, and get it out there. So it was a long process, but I'm glad, because some of the things I think changed over the years that I might not have changed if I sat down and just wrote it all like 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
And I'm kind of glad the way I did some of the things as opposed to the way I originally thought of doing it. I think I came up with some better ideas along the way. So yeah, you know, that was probably a good thing. Yeah.
And like the research, I mean, so all that time writing this is all, obviously includes all the research that you did in you know, writing the book as well, correct? But
I went online for some of it, but believe it or not, I did a lot of the research just the old-fashioned way. I went to the library, and I got sometimes books, I mean, probably 3 times as thick as my novel. Yeah. And if you can believe this, you're going to think I'm some kind of a crazy person, but I literally read almost the entire book. Wow. Like to pick through to get the things that I wanted. Because one goal with it, because of what historical fiction has become, there's no history in it. Mm-hmm. You know, they throw in 3 sentences and that's it. And it's like historical fiction was supposed to be putting you back in that time period, whether it's a romance or a murder mystery or a little of both like mine, and have you enjoy that story, but in a setting that you can learn something about the way life was back then. And that kind of is gone from historical fiction these days. So I wanted it to be where every single thing I put in there about the European history professor, you couldn't find a flaw. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's one thing I'll throw down on. I challenge anyone to find anything in that book that didn't actually happen during that war, because it's all right from history books by revered historians. Yeah. And maybe I just got a little too OCD with that, but I just wanted it to be perfect, you know, that part of it.
Well, yeah, you have to know what you're talking about. So you're doing your research and getting, you know, the right facts is important, unless you want to be criticized, like, forever. So, yeah, no, I totally believe it.
Yeah, because it lives on forever. If you make stupid mistakes. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some even, I won't say the books, but, like, I've seen some even in really popular books, and I read it, and it's like, wow, you're 50 years off. That didn't happen until 50 years down the road, and, you know, I didn't want to be a laughingstock. It's as simple as that. I didn't want anybody to be able to say, oh, my goodness, look at these stupid mistakes, you know? Yeah. I'd rather make a mistake on anything else but the history, you know?
For sure. Wow. Absolutely. So, now, we got to talk about a couple of characters. So, Lisette.
The one you love to hate.
Oh my gosh. Like, seriously? If I could just, like, jump through the book and strangle her a few times, I think I would have probably. She just drove me insane, but she would probably drive everyone insane. And I mean, she was such a good character. Like, I could just, like, in reality, I could see everyone and the whole entire scene the whole time I was reading. And that's a good book. Like, picture the whole entire thing and, like, what everybody, you know, kind of looked like in your own imagination. But, like,
oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. So, you know, and she just, like, drove me insane. Like, she just didn't have a brain in her head. Like, she was
exactly.
Obviously very needy and, you know, thought so much of herself. But really, she had no self-confidence, for sure. Because, you know, thinking that she could still, like, push, and then have a chance. But, you know.
Sure, because she knew, you know, she was attractive, and most men would fall all over her, you know, and she just thought, oh, well, there's no reason I can't get this guy, too. And except that he's in love with someone else.
Exactly. But that, work, I mean, it didn't even stop her, though. Like, the horrible thing she did at the end, like, when Catherine went to her house and asked for her to get him, I thought, you witch. Like, that's just... that's what I wanted. I wanted everybody to just say, you are evil, you're the murderer, we hate you. Yeah.
That's what I wanted because, you know, like when it's narrowing down to who it could be, and I'm not going to give it away, but you have to narrow it down to like, okay, this one, or this one, and I definitely wanted her in that mix.
Yeah.
And I won't say whether it was her or not.
Yeah.
But that was a horrible thing to do. And I was hoping to get that reaction from people like, how could you possibly be so wretched to try to tell her like he was there and he wouldn't talk to her?
I know.
But that's how determined she was to get him for herself. She was getting an obsessive attraction.
She's so mean. Like, but I mean, for Catherine to believe that, but she kind of didn't, but she did. Like, she was so, like, I could totally feel for her. Like, I'm sure in a relationship, I'm sure back in my teens maybe, that I thought was completely over and I was just lost and beside myself, not knowing better then. But like, I felt so bad for her, like the anxiety that she had, and then for her to like tell her that he didn't want to talk to her, and she's just broken, thinking that it was totally over, and that feeling of like hopelessness, and that he's gone forever, and her life what was she going to do with herself? But yeah, it was just... I
know, I'm so glad that came through that well, because, you know, like some people would probably get irritated with it, like, oh, how could you be so stupid? But, you know, like, you have to keep people in their character, and even though she was very intelligent, she lived in a very tiny world for most of her life in that cottage, and even though she was intelligent, it was kind of easy to make her start thinking in the wrong direction because she wasn't out around people and she didn't have other romances to compare it to, and she just didn't have a lot of experience. So if you kind of got her at the wrong time when she was already a little worried, it was easy to kind of, even though then she'd always come back around deep down and say, oh no, that's not right, I don't believe that. But yeah, that was... But thinking that he was there and he wouldn't come, that was like, I wanted people to kind of feel her devastation with that, you know?
Oh, I know. Like, just the whole thing about them, you know, not really arguing, but having that horrible time, and she just didn't trust him, and she thought that he was, like, gonna get bored with her, and I was just, the whole thing, up until it was all done, I was just like, oh my God, my heart, my stomach, I was just like, make this over, like, you know, guys, figure it out.
Get back to love. That's what I was going for. The true agony of what being in love is really like.
Oh yeah,
hearts and flowers, agony sometimes too.
Well, I know. I was just like, but then I kept thinking, though, is it just like a joke? Is he really, you know, up to no good? But then I thought, no, he's not. Like, there's no way. Unless that's a really crazy twist of events, but no. I was like, no, there isn't. There isn't, Catherine.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was done. I was like, just trying to convince Catherine, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, I actually had somebody, as they were reading it, they called me at a certain point, someone I know, and they said, if this is going to turn out that Julian really is the villain, tell me now, because I'm not going to read anymore.
Yeah.
No, don't worry. It's not.
Oh, I know. My God. So I have a question that I just don't understand. Okay, so when Catherine was married to Robert and Julian saw her in the woods with that man, and he didn't know if she was being unfaithful or not, and he couldn't figure out for the longest time who it was. Right? But it was her brother. Correct?
Right.
Yeah. So, but I thought her brother was gone away. So, but
well, yeah, he was gone, but he would kind of sneak back to give her messages and stuff. And the reason they would meet clandestine was because he didn't want, like, if someone was, like, onto him, he didn't want to bring everybody down with him.
Right.
So they would, like, pick some meeting place, and then she would never say that she met him. And then he would zip back off to where he was.
Yeah.
And that's why Julian didn't figure out it was her brother, because normally you might think, well, maybe that was just Christopher, but, why would he have to meet her in the woods? Her brother would just show up at the house and say, I want to see my sister. She was the lady of the manor at that point, so she wouldn't have had, nobody could have kept him away. But, he would come back and try to get messages through, or come back himself to tell her things, and then she would not tell anyone because she didn't want to accidentally blow his cover and get him in trouble, or...
Okay.
He kind of had a perilous existence there, didn't he?
Yeah, because I couldn't for the life of me figure out who on earth it would have been. Like, who is this person? Like, who did she meet? And then it was just hilarious, though, when he finally came and Julian realized that was the man in the woods, and then he thought that wasn't even really listening to what she said, and he was like, I guess you're here to take her away. And it was just like, snap out of it.
Yeah, and just one more reason for her to get irritated with them.
Oh, it's like, basically, like, you're an idiot. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, language now, be like, give me a break. You're just an idiot. Like, it's my brother. My God, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. We don't have any questions yet or call-ins. I was hoping that we would, but, I mean, I still have lots of questions. So that's...
What's the number, though, for people to call in?
Oh, are people asking you?
No, not yet, but okay. I don't know. I didn't post the number or anything.
Okay. Well, it was going to be my own number, but now that I have to use my phone, I don't really think, though, that would actually work. People can actually type in their questions on Spreaker, or they can type in their questions on the live feed on Facebook on the Novelio page too, if they want. So, unless you have WhatsApp in the States, I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah, we have that.
Yeah, so people can call in through the WhatsApp too, and it's so it's 343-550-6800. So I can put that on there. I can put it up on the live feed on Facebook, and I can put it up on the Spreaker chat. So I don't know if anyone was calling in or wanted to chat. This is obviously the first time that I've done a live chat with an author, because this is my first book with you. But so yeah, well, I mean, maybe it'll become another thing when you get your next book and I can read it.
Oh, that would be. Well, I'd love to think we could do this again sometime.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It just was so much fun hearing you doing it.
Yeah. Well, so you have your second book already going, and it'll be done soon, right?
Yes, it's in the final stages. I got a little hung up on some of it, but now I'm over the hump. I had a hard time with some of the research because it was a harder period to research because it's it's Restoration England. That part isn't difficult, but it's difficult to find little things going on that you can work into the conversation that are interesting enough.
Right.
Like instead of just saying 50 times, oh yeah, well the monarchy is restored, how far can you go with that? You have to have something going on, behind the scenes. And so I had to just really work to find some research that I needed on that. But once I got over that hump, now it's starting to really flow again.
And is it the same?
But, yeah,
is it the same people?
Well, some of them are going to be in it because the new person's going to center on is Catherine's daughter, Julia. And so, the parents will still be in there, and some of the other characters will pop back up because, of course, she's in that family. So,
right.
Yeah, we haven't seen the last of those, so they'll be back in their,
cool.
their usual characters, what you would come to expect from them by now.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, I can't wait. So when is it supposed when is it supposed to be out?
I'm hoping by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I really, I know that's maybe a little too ambitious, but I'm really hoping that at least by the end of the year it'll be ready.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Well, I cannot wait to read it. I literally am like, that's too far away. No, I mean, but...
I know, people have been saying that to me.
Oh, my gosh. That's okay, though. So, you have a comment from Catalina. I love those characters, and I want to know how the cover came about. Oh, she wants to know how your cover came about.
Oh, Lord. That was quite an odyssey too. That took a lot of thought because you know what I didn't want. I didn't want the typical romance cover because I knew that would not depict what was really in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want what's his name, Fabio, and the half-naked lady clinging to him.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just looks like a cheesy romance. It looks like a beach read or something, And so I told them what I wanted was, the whole bottom third, I wanted to depict the war.
Right.
I wanted some kind of picture of the English Civil War, period correct, not just soldiers in generic uniforms, but how they really looked,
mm-hmm.
And what they would use to fight and everything. And then I said I wanted... a little bit of the mansion in the background.
Yeah.
And then I said, please have everybody keep their clothes on. I said, I want, don't give me a Chippendale dancer. Give me an Englishman because they had a very refined, elegant look in that day and age. And especially the rich estate owners, they didn't look like they were a male stripper. They looked like they were a refined Englishman, so I wanted it to look right, like I was with the history. I wanted the cover to be the same. And I asked him, I said, get a little bit of the romance, but could you kind of weight it towards the mystery?
Yes.
And as opposed to more weighted to the romance. And I just thought that was, when he came up with that thing, where she's kind of looking over her shoulder with her hand up, almost she's saying, somebody's coming, be quiet, that kind of look. I said, that's perfect. I said, any other tweaking we have to do, whatever, but don't change that. She's perfect. That's exactly what I had in mind. And I can't believe, how he took, that, what was in my head and got it out there on a cover like that. But it was really, I don't know, I was impressed with that. I was glad. And, everybody seemed to have a really good, it actually won a book cover contest.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Had a really good reaction to it. Yeah, you saw the banner, I guess, on Facebook. But every now and then I get someone that says, "Oh no, you need to have a Chippendale dancer on there." But they just,
come on.
And I realize what they're saying. They're kind of picturing it that way in their head, and that's fine. But it doesn't work. You can't put models like that on a book like that because it doesn't.
No, it's not a cheesy book.
Fit.
It's not a cheesy romance book. It's good written stuff here, and Catherine is a smart, beautiful, level-headed girl who is, who's wears her heart on her sleeve, but also knows what she wants, not going to put up with any, she's not some ditzy chick that's, just looking for, she's not Lisette.
Exactly, yeah. And that kind of cover would have been perfect for Lisette.
Yes.
Right?
Lisette can have a...
Exactly.
Yeah, the Chippendale guy. Oh, my gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so hopefully that answers Catalina's question that, how it all came about. So that was the person at the publishing house that did that cover for you or someone else?
Yeah, that was one of their artists who did that. Yeah.
Awesome.
And they, like, they'll keep going if you're not happy,
Yeah.
And we tweaked some things, but, man, when he hit on that, it was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just perfect.
And can I ask, is that Robert with her?
That was, to me, it's Julian.
Okay.
But I kind of, like, it's kind of whichever one you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of think of it as Julian because she's the one he ended up with. But,
right.
I know a lot of people are going to see it, and that's going to be Robert to them. So I kind of, like, to me, it's Julian, but if people say, oh, it's Robert, that's cool, too. Cause,
yeah. Well, they're twins.
She really was their wife,
they're twins, so, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were people's thoughts about how she ended up with both of them? I know that sounds odd.
Oh, everybody wanted that. I even had people that were in the middle of reading it, and they'd, like, message me on Twitter or Facebook or something, say, please tell me she's going to end up marrying him, too, because I didn't know if people would like that or not. I thought maybe they might think, oh, that's kind of
odd.
Convenient,
no.
to end up with both of them, but that ended up getting a really good, I got a lot of compliments that people liked that. That's what they were hoping would happen, so that's the best thing in the world. When you wrote something and then people say, like, oh, I was hoping it was going to be that. It's like, yes, okay, thank God.
Well,
it's like one of those moments.
Because, it was a genuine thing. Like, Julian loved his brother, like, madly. And he knew that Catherine would love him forever and was dealing with all the different emotions of, like, still seeing him and feeling him. And even if she was with Julian, and he was okay with that. And, and the whole, like, putting her wedding ring on the other hand, like, but it was a genuine, like, thing. It wasn't like, oh, like, a soap opera, like, oh, I'm leaving you for my brother, for your brother.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't like an instant thing, and it was,
no,
and she kind of wrestled with, am I not being true to Robert to do this? But then, think about it really, like Robert's character, he would be happier than anybody if he wasn't there to take care of her and raise that boy with her. Of course he would have wanted Julian, Well,
of course, yeah.
So, it really, it was, I tried to make it, like you said, like not soap opera-ish, but, like, where it's real.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then, it was totally perfect. I mean, and she took her time, and she had to decide, and she, she never rushed into anything, and she wasn't like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll move on to you. She was very level-headed, and, yeah. But when when she left to go to France, oh my gosh, like, I was like, what's happening? Like, what? I think this isn't possible. And then she got there, and her aunt was dead. Oh, we have a message from is it Makar or Makar?
Oh, Makar,
okay.
Oh, my Russian buddy. Hi, Makar.
Yeah, yes, you described it perfect, Suzanne. The end with the letters was the best part, and the way they stood at Robert's grave at the end. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, when they stood at his grave.
Oh, yeah, when you were talking about how it was good, like that she ended up with Julie. Yeah, you did describe that good. Like, wasn't soap opera-ish and all that. But, yeah, people liked the letters. Everybody liked that. I didn't know how that was going to go over.
Well, you got to.
But is that kind of a dumb way to wrap everything up? But
because
it kept writing itself that way, and I couldn't do it any other way, so I did it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome because they have to leave, right? And then the people stay back. But, like, how do we know? They're going to stay back and they're going to go move on. And then what's going to happen? We have to figure. So the letters was perfect, and then seeing the dates between them, it was just like, wow, that's so crazy. How it would have been like messenger comes to your house and then you write the letter right there while they're waiting, and then you send it, and then they don't get it for months, or could be months, and then they send another one back months later, and
Yeah, we can't even picture that in this day and age. Like,
no.
because the messengers actually used to go like down to the kitchens, and the servants would give them a little something to eat and something to drink while they're waiting for the other one to write the, the response. We're so far away from that now, but they actually, that was how they communicated. That's why they didn't know things, for months. So I bet, and that's tricky too when you're writing it, because they didn't get the news the next day.
No.
So like if something would happen in July, I'd have to make sure, I can't bring that up till September, because they wouldn't know about it till September, till news finally got through the war zone and got to that little way down there in Cornwall, so I had to be careful with that too, that I didn't make it like, how do these messages get back and forth so quick? So that's a trap you have to watch for when you're when you're writing it.
So, so like realistically thinking, how long would it have taken Catherine to come back from France when she decided to come back, when she found out that she was going to have Robert's baby?
Probably about 3 weeks. Okay. At least.
3 weeks, yeah.
And with war, it could have even been a month. Mm-hmm. In a stretch, maybe it could do it in 2 weeks, but it was a long, drawn-out process. It's like we just hop on a plane, and, their travel was and especially if you're going, like, to somewhere you land at one point, but then you're going all the way down to Cornwall, and it's, it was treacherous. Yeah. It's probably why she got sick on the way back.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to me like I'm just saying, maybe that's why she got sick.
Oh. Yeah, could be. You should read the book and ask the author. I don't know. Yeah. It's probably why she got...
Sometimes they do different things that you don't expect, because honestly, when I was having her go to France, I was going to have her aunt be there to greet her.
Yeah.
And that was like, I really was. And then I'm writing it, and it's like, wait, she died? What are you talking about? What? She died? What do I do now? Oh. It just, that part certain parts of this book kind of wrote itself. And went completely veered off what I had planned. And I was like, okay, she died. Now I was
I mean, that was...
I don't know. I think sometimes your subconscious brain does its own thing, and you just have to go along with it.
Well, yeah, just like in your dreams and stuff. But I thought that was shocking but clever, because... Then she's like, oh my God, now what? And then she's like stuck there. She's like traveled this far and her life's complete mess. And she doesn't want to go back to Julian, who's being a jerk. And, so, no, that was, I mean, just, I keep saying, just like the whole thing. I just keep shaking my head about it. Like this part and this part and this part. And just like, when it revealed about who the killer was. It was just the whole... I wish that I had I kind of did reread it or pre-read it before, so I could have done, like, the whole, like, evil, laughing and psycho kind of stuff better, but...
Oh, yeah, no, I know what you mean. Once you know who
but I could hear her, like, like...
Yeah.
Like, she's a little... crazy.
I hope it wasn't, like, real obvious. I mean, I know down to the end it can only be so many people unless you're going to do, like, a murder, she wrote thing and not explain anything till the last page. But, so you kind of narrow it down, but I hope it wasn't, like, real obvious.
No, because I was
going to be...
Every single person I was like, okay, maybe it's this person. And, like, I was even thinking her brother. Like, I was thinking, was it her brother? Like, if he came back and saw her in the woods that day, like, I was thinking everybody, and I was thinking, why would they do it? Like, what was the reason? Or I was thinking the most quietest person that, didn't really was in the book, but I was just going through everybody in my mind. Because, even when they talked about the scenario briefly about why that person who did it would have done it, and then they just passed it off, and I was like, okay, well, I was just running through every single person and just thinking, like, I'm gonna be shocked at who it is.
Yeah, because what I tried to do, like, especially when they were having Julian and Christopher were having that conversation, or him and the detective. Yeah. I tried to make it where, like, well, here's a reason it could be this person, but, but it's not them because of this and this and this. So I kind of gave everybody a motive, but then I tried to take it away. It's like, well, no, but, if it was that, then why that, and that's, I guess it worked. 'Cause a lot of people said they didn't see it coming, so that's exactly what I wanted, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So that made me happy.
Yeah. I mean, we could go on and on and on about it, but how many books have you sold so far?
Oh, you're going to make me jinx it?
No.
I did hit 5,000.
Sorry?
I want to hit 5,000 by June 19th.
Right.
And I don't think I'm going to unless I have 400 people show up at this book signing on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but I don't think they're coming. But I was going to I'm posting it later on Facebook where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah. There's still time. I mean, in a year, if almost 5,000 people have bought, a copy, that's incredible. That's...
And it's really, it has a lot to do with advertising, too.
Yeah.
You just have to advertise it to death. And some people, they kind of get sick of seeing it. But, of course, my Jessica Russell page is kind of a promo page. That's what it's there for.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But you just have to keep doing it. And I tell people, if you've seen it before, just keep scrolling because there's new people every day and I have to get it in front of their face,
Yeah. Well, that's what you have to do. When you run a business or you're trying to sell.
You're unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're unknown, you just, how are they going to ever find out? And see, a lot of writers, they focus on getting reviews. And then reviews is important. I mean, you have to have reviews on Amazon, different places before you start to advertise. But also, you don't want to just spend the rest of your life trying to get reviews. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of writers that just go run around giving their books away for free all the time to get a review.
Yeah.
But it's you're not doing anything to further your career. You're not getting sales that way. It's not doing anything for you. Because you can have 100 great reviews, but if nobody's coming on the link to see the book, you're not going to get any more sales.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
You really have to. It's almost like another full-time job to advertise and market a book.
If I'd
have known how hard it was ahead of time, I don't know if I would have done any of this.
Oh,
I
no.
seriously don't know.
No, you did an amazing job because, look at how many hands it's gotten into and the amount of reviews on Amazon. And Cassie says, I loved her return and how Julian was so happy to have her back. Me too. It was so sweet. Oh God, he was just totally in shock. I could totally feel his shock when they said, "Oh, that she was back," and he was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you drunk?
Yeah. I'm happy though that before she left, that they kind of made the amends a little bit because her father showed up and he protected her, and then she went off, and then so she didn't have to come back to that tension that was still there, and she was going to be is he going to be horrible?
I wanted to kind of sow the seed a little bit of them kind of making up. I didn't want that carried all through so much of the book, that's why I kind of softened it up a little bit before she left because it just felt right to do it that way instead of keeping the conflict going any longer.
Well, yeah. Plus she probably, for me, I don't know. Would I really want to go back to that? But
Yeah, that's another thing, too.
Yeah.
It might not have been believable that she would go back if they were still in the middle of where he's saying mean things, or why would you go back, So, kind of had to do that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I loved that. I loved it all. I loved every part. But, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, so, well, I'm sure you can, this is your first book, too. This is, a very great accomplishment, just to done so well and written such an amazing book. And so how long has it taken you to write?
Feels good.
Yeah. How long has it written to you to take your second book then?
It was a lot faster.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be 2 years when all is said and done.
Okay.
So a lot quicker but then you kind of have the hang of it. It's getting over that hump of the first one.
Right.
I can see why writers can then start just putting them out every couple of years. I was thinking on the first one, how do they do this every 2 years? I could never do this. But now, I don't know. It's a big difference between 1 and 2. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can imagine, you're brand new to it, and now you've, had a bit of experience, so.
It helps. Yeah, it really does.
Awesome. Well, like I said, a million times, your book was amazing, and I'm so happy I got to read it, and Thank you for being the first person on the podcast and letting me read your book. And did your mother listen to the podcast?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I know she
Yeah,
got...
I was so happy to have done it because she's almost legally blind.
Right.
And something like this for her with my book is like over the moon for her because, you know, it's like one of the biggest moments of my life. And she struggled, but she had to put like this expensive contraption she had to try to read the print. And then, you know, this was like a wonderful thing for her. I mean, and that's what was so near and dear to my heart. Like, not just that you picked me as the first writer, but because of that, and you didn't know that. I had no idea. Oh, this, yeah, you had no idea. No. It was just such an honor, because, like, no matter what happens in my life, I'll always be the first person to have had their book read on your show, and it's a feel-good moment for me. It was a privilege. It really was.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm so happy.
And you did a great job.
So happy you said yes. Well, thank you very much. Are you getting those shirts made? Have done.
Actually, yes. I actually am, because I got enough people who said they wanted them that I can actually do it. So
I want one. I totally want one.
Oh, so, I wish I had some for my... Well, you get one for free.
Oh.
Nobody else asked me for one for taken. But I wish I had them for my book signing.
Oh,
I bet people would buy them.
When do you get them?
They would.
So when do you...
That's on Thursday at 5 to 7 at the Ground Up Coffee Bar in Marion, South Carolina.
Oh, yes.
If anyone wants to come, there's a little commercial for that.
Yes, no, please, yes.
Yeah, I'd love to have them in that future event. I'm also going back to San Marco for Black Friday, so I'm real excited about that. San Marco Books and More in Florida.
Oh, good,
So I'm going back down there for their Black Friday event, so there's another little commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pile it on. I mean, tell us where you're going to be. So... You have a page on Facebook, too, Jessica Russell, and then your book's on Amazon and pretty much everywhere you can probably buy a book, right?
Yeah.
Barnes &
Noble, Kobo, pretty much anywhere you can buy a book. Google Books, iBooks, all that.
Yeah, awesome. And when do your shirts come?
Well, I didn't put the order in yet,
okay.
But I'm going to put the order in on Friday. And supposedly she has them done within 4 days. So that's awfully quick, but that's great for me.
Oh, awesome.
She did some signs and some other promo stuff for me. She's really fast on that, too. So
well, that's perfect, then.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait to get the shirt. Yay, have done.
I love that expression. It's funny the different things they say, you know.
Oh, yeah. I was like, that would be an awesome shirt. Have done. Oh, God.
I know. It'll start a whole thing. It'll start a whole 1600s trend, 17th-century trend.
And people will be like, what's your shirt? And then you'd be like, about this book, you should read it. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, I've had such a good time talking to you, and we will do this again when your next book comes out, for sure. And
all right.
Yes. And
thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to end this podcast and feed my dog. So again, you have a wonderful day and wonderful afternoon, and good luck at your book signing on Thursday. And hope it all goes well, and you can get, all the rest of your sales up to 5,000. Come on, people, buy Hot Winter Sun. It's totally worth it.
Do it.
Yeah, totally do it. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Your week too.
Okay, you too. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. And there you have it. Our conversation with Jessica Russell. We are finishing up now. So tomorrow I start a brand new book, reading on my Spreaker podcast, Novelio. And I hope that you will tune in, and please share with your friends and family and anyone who could benefit from having a novel read aloud that maybe they can't read it themselves. I will be their voice and they can listen to my words. So with that, we're done. Take care. Have a great day. Bye for now.